Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off last time. We're going to make a couple of edits to what we did last time because that's a couple of things didn't come out quite right, and then we're going to continue working towards making our perfect title block. I'm going to go to Layout 1 here, and we're going to turn back on our viewports layer so that we can delete it because it wasn't how we wanted to insert it. So we're going to delete that. I'm going to come back down here to Model, and we found a better way to deal with drawing name. So I'm going to delete drawing name, type in FIELD, and we're going to go to Other, and then System Variable, and then Ctab, and then uppercase. And what that'll do is that will make it so this will read whatever the tab that it's in says. So last thing we got to do is we got to move it. So M-enter, click our spot, go at 1/8, comma, -3/16, enter, and that pops that right in where that should go. The only thing about this is, though, it looks like we used the wrong annotation tab. So we're going to click on this, go to annotation, and instead of date, let's change this to entries, I believe it should be. And that looks better, that fills in. And you notice it's named model because this is in the model tab, which, you know, makes sense. So the next thing we got to do is we have to come down and we have to change our paper size. So we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to start working towards bringing our template in here. So I'm right-click on the Layout, and I'm going to go to Page Setup Manager. And under Layout 1, I'm going to click Modify. I'm going to change my printer to, where is we? DWG to PDF dot PC3. So that'll be that. And then we're going to come down here and change my page type, and I'm going to change that to ANSI A Expand 11 by 8.5. Say OK. You can actually see the paper change in the background. Then we can say Close. We're going to rename Layout 1. So right-click on it, go to Rename, and we're going to name it ANSI A for now because that's the size of the paper that we're using, and the title block that we made is for that size paper. So we're going to rename that. We're going to come back here to Model Space, and we're going to highlight and hit Control-C to copy. And then we're going to come back here to ANSI A, ANSI A. Then go to PasteClip, P-A-S-T-E. Sorry, we're screwing this up here. P-A-S-T-E-C-L-I-P. Hit Enter, and it'll bring it in. And when you do, I want you to zoom in and put it really close to the edge of those dashes. Right, we want to get as tight to it as we can, but they still have to show because that's the edge of the paper, and nothing will print any further than that. When we come in, we came in a little bit high. So when we do, I want to stretch this down so that it fits a little bit better. So I'm going to type in stretch, S-T-R-E-T-C-H. Going to select, draw a window around this area, hit Enter, and then I got to choose someplace where I can see the dashed line well, but then I'm going to click and pull down. And you'll notice it'll kind of let you go wonky here, so careful not to get any left and right going on. Click, and then now we have the entire title block in that space. So we stretched it down. Now we're going to save it as a title block. If you notice, because of what we did, so now we are in our title block, and this thing was named ANSI A because that's the name of the layout tab that we're in. But now we're going to go and we're going to create this as a template. So we're going to go to File, go to Save As, and now instead of Drawing, we're going to go to Drawing Template, and we're going to name this Perfect. Actually, we'll name it ANSI A Perfect Title Block, which you can see I've already done here. But get rid of the .dwt because we don't want that because we're saving a template file, not a drawing file. So ANSI A Perfect Title Block. I'm going to save it on my desktop where I have an AutoCAD folder going on. I'm even going to make one more folder here just for me because I kind of have a lot of drawings and I don't want them. I don't want to confuse myself as I'm working here. So I'm going to name it Perfect, and I'm going to hit Save. So Perfect is my folder. Hit Save, and it's going to save it into there. I think I might have to change this to a template file. Whoops. Desktop. AutoCAD. Perfect. ANSI Perfect Title Block. And get get rid of the .dwt. So I think it's automatically kind of switching that. Holy moly. Oh, we want it to be ANSI A perfect title block. Hopefully that goes now. Did. So we'll say okay. That's good. So we're going to close this now because we have it saved. And we're going to go, and there are 3 different ways you can open up a new title block, a new template. I can go to File, and I can go to New. And so when I choose just a random template, I always kind of want to choose ACAD. That's a good base template to use. And then I want to insert into here my actual title block. So I deleted that viewport. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to go to From Template. I'm going to search to where I was, AutoCAD, perfect title block, say OK, and you'll notice it made an ANSI A layout, right? So I'm going to delete layout 2. Yep. Delete layout 1. Okay. And then I'm going to rename this. So rename, I'm just going to name this EXAMPLE 1. Should come back and do that in caps though. XAMPLE 1, since everything should be capitals. So you'll notice it doesn't automatically change. If I click here and I hit REA, it'll regenerate the drawing and it'll make that happen. Let's do another sheet here where we go from template, find our template file again. It's okay, and see it throws in another ANSI A. I'm going to rename this one, and I'm going to name it EXAMPLE 2. So now I have 2 drawings. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll come here and we'll hit REA to regenerate. And then we'll look what we have to do next. The next thing we want to do is we want to auto-populate the rest of our drawing. So if we go to File and we go to Drawing Utilities and we go to Drawing Properties, I can go through, and for the title I can do just like I have it set up. I can name it Mr. Duff. Subject I'll leave alone now since that's not where that's grabbed from. Oh, sorry, that should not be. My title should be title block. Call it title block example. And the author should be Mr. Duff. Then we can say OK. And again, if I hit REA, that should regenerate. And I can go to example 1 and see that already regenerated, so that went good. Other thing we want to do is we want to set a viewport scale. So what we're going to do is on each one, so example 1, I'm going to draw a viewport. So I'm going to go VPORTS, choose a single, say OK. Just draw it out here in the middle. I'm going to double click inside of there and turn off the grid just because it's annoying to look at. Double click outside of it. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to make another field, and I'm going to make it down here in the scale area. So FIELD, enter. And this was the one I was doing earlier, so I'm going to go to Other, System Variable, no, sorry, Objects, and then Object, and then it's going to give me a little crosshair to choose my object. So I'm going to click on my viewport, and then I'm going to say OK. Oh, no, sorry, not OK. I'm going to choose Standard Scale, make sure everything is uppercase, and then I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to come and I'm going to drop it down here, and it says Custom. Now, you can tell there's some things that aren't quite right about Custom. If I click in this one, you can see it's bold. So if I go to Annotation, I want this to be the same as Scale, as Date, so that it's smaller so the whole thing fits. And when I did that, I just made Mr. Duff the wrong one too. So click on Custom Only, change that to Scale, to Date. And then I've got to move this into place, so Enter. And then choose my base point, come down this way, hit at 1/8, comma negative 3/16, hit enter. It pops that in place. And now if I come up here and I set my viewport scale, let's get this thing out of here, and change this to, I don't know, let's change it to 100 to 1. Okay? And then if I hit REA, you'll see it'll change my scale automatically to 100 to 1. So as long as before I print, I hit REA, it'll update that, and then I can print my drawing. We'll do the same thing here on example 2. Right? The only thing that's not great about this whole situation is that you have to make a new text field every single time because you're going to grab it off of a different object. But still, I really think it's worth it. So viewport, single, say OK, double click inside, turn off the grid, field, choose object, objects, and then choose your object. My object is right here. Choose standard scale, uppercase, even though it's probably not going to matter. Come down here. Got to change my annotation again. So click on it, change my annotation to date. So it's nice and small. Hit move. Choose here. At 1/8, comma, negative 3/16. Something didn't go right. Do it one more time. Enter. Enter. Choose my base point at 1/8, comma, negative 3/16. Enter. It's in the right place. Now I'm going to click on my viewport. I'm going to change it. I'll change this one to 16 to 1 because whatever. Then REA. It updates it, and we're good. That should cover the majority of what you need to do in order to get this done. The next video, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about plotting it. But other than that, you should be in good shape. If you have any questions, come up and ask.